Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Soul Speak, the podcast for teens. I'm your host, Emily Miller, and Teen Intuitive. So, today we are going to talk all things reflections. This is my favorite topic and my favorite thing to just discuss, ponder over, think about, figure out, all the things. So, reflections are the way the universe communicates to us. And they are the things that show us, the reflections are the things that show us how we are being to us. So, there is a saying that you will find everywhere. It's called the Golden Rule. And the Golden Rule is to treat others the way that you want to be treated. This is very backwards. What we should do is treat ourselves the way we want to be treated. And I'll say it again. Treat yourself the way you want to be treated. The reason is, if you treat yourself the way that you want to be treated and you be towards you the way you want others to be towards you, then you will get all the things that you want, that you desire, that you are put here to achieve, to be, to experience. So, reflections are showing us how we are being to us. And if we follow this new golden rule, treat yourself the way you want to be treated, then you will create a creator field that is exactly what you want, because you are putting yourself first. And by putting yourself first, you will be able to fill yourself up so that you can go out and help others. You cannot drive anywhere with an empty tank. You can do nothing if your cup isn't full, right? So hold on to that concept and then know that with reflections, the universe is going to show you, source is going to show you, higher self is going to show you the way that you are treating yourself through the 8 areas of life, which I touched on briefly. And I'll also be brief with it here. We'll do a whole podcast on that at a later date. But the 8 areas of life are things like financial, things like family, things like physical body. So the 8 areas of life are going to basically just show you exactly how you're being toward you. And it's going to let you know how you are in alignment or not in alignment. So let's use physical, the body, for example, as one of the 8 areas of life. And I'll tell you this first. Every single part of the body, every single part down to your pinky fingernail, connects to an emotion. And so every single thing that happens to you physically has an emotional root cause. And we'll have like a little dictionary later to show you how each part of the body connects to these emotions. So let's use your stomach. And let's say that on your stomach, you are holding extra weight. And that extra weight you don't desire, you don't want it to be there, you wish it was gone. Well, that extra weight on your stomach is there as a communication. that is the higher self and source's way to communicate to you that you are out of alignment. Our bodies are very important to us. We notice all the things, little things to big things. We notice if there is a hair out of place, and we notice if we have the flu. The body is a loud communicator to us to show us how we are being to us. And once you realize what each part of the body is communicating to you, then you are able to kind of translate it, figure it out, and get rid of or shift out of the physical thing that you aren't loving and create something that you do love. So that is an amazing realization. Let's come back to the weight on the tummy. So you're having like that little extra weight and you want to get rid of it. Well, anytime that your body is holding on to extra weight, it's holding on to it because your body doesn't feel safe in the way that you are treating it, or it doesn't trust that you are going to keep it safe, right? There are beliefs that you are holding on to that, or ways that you are speaking to yourself that make your body feel unsafe in this current moment. Okay. So if you are using mean words when you're talking about your body, or you're even just talking about yourself using mean words, your body is putting that extra weight there to keep those negative words with the negative emotions from getting into your organs. Your organs are like vital to your survival. But if you just put a little extra weight on there, is it gonna kill you? No. But are you gonna notice it? Yes. So you see that little bit of extra weight on there. And whenever you know the things that I know that I'm sharing with you, and you know that little bit of extra weight is something you don't want, and that it's there to protect you, to keep you safe, to keep those mean words from getting to the vital organs that are behind that layer of fat, then you can shift out of the belief that you have, or shift out of the way that you're thinking, that you're currently thinking or being to yourself, to drop the extra weight. Our bodies and all reflections are meant to show us that we're out of alignment. And these ways that they show us that we're out of alignment, if we're saying mean words to ourselves and holding on to a little extra fat, that could be kind of a small reflection, right? But there are bigger reflections too that our body and all the other areas of life will reflect back to us to show us that we're out of alignment. And a bigger one would be cancer, right? So let's say that our body is communicating to us through the reflection of holding on the little bit of extra fat so that the mean words don't get to our liver and dig into the liver and stay in the liver and fester and then create cancer, right? To mess up all of our cells so that they're attacking each other and the liver doesn't function anymore. And what happens if our liver is not functioning anymore? Bad things. We don't have another liver. We would have to get another one from somewhere else. The little fat is like a little way, a smaller way for the body to communicate to you, showing you that you're out of alignment in the way that you are thinking, acting, being towards yourself, making it feel unsafe. And then it can progress and get bigger and turn into something like cancer that takes a lot more effort and work and treatment and things that go on to get rid of cancer. That is a lot harder to get rid of than the little bit of extra weight that you're holding onto your body. So your body starts, and your situations and your circumstances and all of these things will start giving you reflections that are smaller. And if we ignore them and we don't address them and we don't shift out of these beliefs that we currently have, then the reflections will grow. They will get bigger and they will become larger issues that take a lot more effort to shift out of. Okay? The little ones take less effort and are easier to shift out of than the big ones, but the big ones are you're just as able to shift out of them as the small ones. So do keep that in mind. No matter how big the reflection is, there's always a solution to get rid of it, to shift out of it, to get back into alignment, to feel good. So the little ones we don't notice, the big ones we usually do. So it seems a lot of times that that our reflections, our problems are really big, right? Because we fail to notice the small ones because maybe you didn't know about reflections until now. You probably didn't know about reflections until now. And so one of the things to just realize is that these reflections are a gift. Like, they're amazing. It is the most wonderful thing that Source could have planned for us is to get these reflections. It seems sometimes like these reflections might be punishment, like, why, God, are you doing this to me? Why do I have to experience this? Why do I have to have this? Why did this happen to me? Well, it happened to you for a reason. It happened because Source and Higher Self are gifting to you the knowledge to know that you are living in a way that needs to be changed so that you can be here to live the life that you desire and deserve. These communications in the 8 areas of life through your situations, circumstances, people, places, your body, all these things are here as a gift. And we are so fortunate. You are so fortunate. You are lucky. Like, that's not a good word because your source had a plan, or your higher self had a plan, and source had a plan for you to be here. You were put here in listening to this podcast so you could get this information so that you could learn how to make these like necessary shifts in life to do great things, right? So the reflections are here as a gift to teach us how to have the best life that we could ever have, because growth and change, it comes from challenges. If we never experienced a challenge in life, how would you ever learn anything? How would life ever change? It wouldn't. You would just be like floating around along in this like blissful, like nothingness, really, if you think about it. Because anytime that you have something that goes quote unquote wrong, you learn a really good lesson from it. So going back to like the idea, I think it was a couple podcasts ago, the kid who, loses their $20, and that could ultimately lead them to become a millionaire because they learned how to manage their money and keep their money safe and keep that money with them. So this reflection of losing the money at this time in their life gave them all of this knowledge with money to become this great, wonderful money manager where their wealth is thriving and growing and getting better. So you think about these challenges that people have, you think about famous people in the world, like people who have done really amazing things. They've usually faced like really big challenges in life because these challenges are things that teach you lessons to become a better person, to know more things, to then be able to take these tools, these things that you're learning, and apply them to multiple things in life so that your life just gets bigger and better and you're building with these tools this gorgeous, gorgeous life. So it's super important to just keep in mind anytime that you are experiencing something that doesn't feel good, think about what kind of lesson could it be teaching you and showing you how you might need to change something in your life. Your creator field. Oh, this is what I was going to tell you also. So, like energy attracts like energy, right? It's just like a scientific law. Like energy attracts like energy. And so, whenever we have our creator field and we created our script by how the energy that we're putting out into the world, and we're telling the earth, or I'm sorry, the world to be back to us. We've created our script telling the world how to be to us, telling the universe how to be to us, all people, places, situations, circumstances, and things. How are they going to be towards us? That comes from our creator field, right? And our creator field sends out the script, and then it reflects back to us with our reflections the way that the universe is going to be back to us, right? So the law that you just kind of have to understand here is that like energy attracts like energy. And with that, you cannot bring things into your life that you haven't put the energy out there to receive back. So, as you're realizing what these reflections in your life are and how they are making you feel and how they are making you think that your life currently is, know that shifting the way that you are being to you, the way that you are treating you, like we said at the beginning, treat yourself the way you want to be treated. That is your creator field. That's your script that you're putting out there, and how the world is going to reflect back to you, how the universe is going to show you all the matter in the world, how it's going to organize the energy that you've put out there to reflect back to you, to show you how you are being to you. And so, anytime you have a reflection of something, little or big, it is just the universe showing you how you are being to you, and if it is in alignment with how you feel that you are supposed to experience this world around you. And your reflections are going to feel either like heavy or weighted down or dark, or they are going to feel like light, and they're going to feel happy, and they're going to feel good, and they're going to feel satisfying. So there's kind of two ways that you can feel from the reflections that you are getting back. And it's really important to note how you feel about those things, because that will be like your big indicator of how you're being to you. Is if you're having these reflections, if the universe is showing you that these things don't feel good, then that's an indicator that there are things that needed to be shifted out of your creator field to have the world respond to you, to mirror back to you the things that you want. And if on the other side, you are having some things that are going really well in your life, then that is an indicator that you've kind of got these things under control, right? That you have good thoughts, you have good ideas, you have good feelings about how these areas of life are going to be. Okay. So, feelings are the way to see like what your reflections are. And then another thing to note about reflections is just that it's the way of the universe. There is no escaping them. There is no getting around them. And there's no way to avoid them. And also remember that that is a really good thing because we want to know if we are living out of alignment. We want for source and higher self to snap us out of whatever way that we are being to us so that we can wake up and say, oh man, like I have been living this way that is not serving me. It is not something that feels good to me, and I need to change it. And so, the really amazing thing to know today is that you are learning this now. You found me, you found my podcast, and you are going to be able to start learning how to decode, how to interpret the way that your higher self and source are speaking to you through these reflections. And we'll get more into depth in reflections in the next episode and how the universe talks to us in these different ways, how our body speaks to us, how our situations and circumstances speak to us, even how the people in your life speaking to you, how to decode that. If somebody is being a certain way to you, how does that mean you're being to you? If I am in this environment, how is that showing me that I am being to me to make me feel this way when I step into this room? How am I being to me, to my body, to make this pinky nail break? Like, there's things that are that small, and then there's really, really big things, okay? And know that they all have explanations and they all have solutions. Once you can figure out how to interpret what our communications are saying to us, which we'll 100% go into, then you can see exactly how to shift out of those beliefs that you have that aren't serving you to have the world, the universe, your 3D life reflect back to you everything you desire. So keep that in mind this week, that you are one of the fortunate ones. You are one of the gorgeous, beautiful souls that found me, that now gets to shift their reality, your reality, into exactly what you want, everything you desire, everything you deserve in life. So, thank you for being here. I love that you are here. And come back next week for much, much more. And have a gorgeous, gorgeous week.